Welcome in. It is day 71 and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. Today we're going to be going over a much smaller game. This is a game that I kickstarted almost 4 years ago. And, well, it was an interesting game and I think perfectly fine. It's never going to make it to stores. It's never going to be massively popular. I think it was a sun run. You know, we've got a game, we put it out, it actually completed a Kickstarter, we're going to make a little cash off it and we're good. And that's perfectly fine. I think that's the great thing about Kickstarters. It gives those opportunities to these smaller type games. This game was an interesting mashup, as it was almost kind of a combination of tic-tac-toe, bingo, and a trivia game. That game is called Quiz Quoz. So how does it work? Well, they got 6 boards with numbers 1 through 9, and you randomly get to pick one. So that's going to be your bingo aspect, because the boards change up where the numbers are. The idea is that you take a die, you roll it, and based on your number, it's going to tell you off of the card you pulled which question you're being asked. So, okay, I rolled a 3, question 3. You now have to answer the question, and all the time, the way that this game works is, the answers will be 1 through 9. So, if you roll, you get a 3, you get asked a question, you know that the answers have to be one of these. And if you guess an 8, and it's right, you get to put one of your markers on your 8. Now, you take a turn, and your opponent takes a turn. You're going back and forth. And whoever's the first one to get 3 in a row is going to get their tic-tac-toe and their win. How does this work in general? It's not a lot of strategizing in this kind of game, because it's all up to the randomness of the question. You don't know which question you're being asked. You don't know, what kind of answer that's going to have. So you may never even have a chance to get 3 in a row because you never get questions that line up. And then when it comes to the questions, well, can you know the answer? Well, here's an easy one for you. If your opponent is killing it on the board and they've covered up, 6 of their numbers and they still haven't gotten 3 in a row, but it's getting dicey and you've only got 2, but if you get 1 more, you do get a 3 in a row. Well, you can just say, screw it. If I don't know the numbers, I'm just going to keep guessing it's 4 because that's my go-to number. And if I'm right, I win. So in that respect, it's a little bit of question on this. It's not a bad game. It's just, I feel like they didn't put enough effort into thinking out how to get these tic-tac-toes. There's more they could have done here. But again, it was a sun run. They put it up. They made a small little amount of money. I think they only made like 10 grand off this game. They probably put a couple thousand in their pocket and they were happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the game came out all right. So why don't we judge based on our 7 categories and really try to see where this would land. Category 1, art. Where does this look for art? I mean, this is a very generic art. The box isn't anything special. The cards are nothing special. It's just a little bit of color, some numbers written down. I think that the art is a thumbs down. You're not selling me this based on its box. You're not selling me this based on the art inside the game. It's acceptable. I'm not looking at this and being like, oh my God, a kid did this. Like, it looks fine. It's like, okay, somebody put together some, asymmetric type art. But it's not that kind of game for me. I think they should have put a little bit more theme into it. So, thumbs down on the art. The components. Well, the box itself, the die, the boards, your pieces going on the board. You're talking about cardboard, and you're talking about cards primarily, and a die. They're all perfectly fine. I think that, they did an okay job on a game that clearly was meant to just be a money grab. We're doing this to just make a couple thousand, put it in our pocket, and leave. I think that they didn't skimp. They just didn't go all out. They did enough to make sure the game was going to be a good quality. Thumbs up on the components. Your price. Now, the question here becomes, are you pricing this based on when you bought it via Kickstarter or via its availability today? When I got it through Kickstarter, it was pretty cheap. You were probably talking about $15 for this game. That's why I was willing to do it. I didn't really have trivia games, and I went, okay, I'll get a small one. I want something in my collection. But today, this isn't going to be found in a board game store. This is going to be found in a Target or in a Barnes & Noble. I'm not even sure you can find this on Amazon. I think this is such a rare one that the price might have gone a little higher. Now, I don't think it's going to be massively high. If anything, I think it's far more likely you're going to find this game in a thrift store than to find it at a high price on Amazon. But the point being is it's not going to be easy to find. And due to that, I think that the price has to be a thumbs down because you can't find it. And if you do, I mean, who knows where it's going to be priced? It's completely unknown. So thumbs down on that one. Your difficulty. This is not difficult, but the problem I think this game runs into is that 4 levels of difficulty issue. Is an expert player going to want to play this? No. Is a kid going to want to play this? No. So you're down to 2. You've got your beginners and you've got your experienced players. I think that your beginners are going to be okay with giving it a try, but I don't know that this is the game that's really going to make them want to go make that effort. And I think your experienced players are going to be okay with pulling it out once in a while, but I think that it's going to have to be a low-level experience because as you're getting more and more experience, this is not a game that's going to be your choice. So, while I don't think it's difficult to play, I think that its level of being so easy and so simple to play makes it hard to get to the table because a lot of people are just going to kind of say, no thanks. So I got to give it a thumbs down on difficulty for the idea of it not being difficult enough. It's just too simple. Replayability. I will say that while I don't think this is one you're going to get to the table very often, if you do have people who like a trivia and they have an annoyance because they're always so good, this is a nice one to pull out because it doesn't give them a clear advantage and it gives a chance to just play a few games in a row. So I think it has replayability in that respect. I don't think this is one that most people want to pull out, but for trivia-specific players, and that's the way I'm going to target this replayability. For the people who love trivia, I think this is a great way to be able to get your friends to play with you again, because I know so many people who are, I know everything about movies, I know everything about music, I know everything about television, and nobody will play my games at me anymore because they never get a turn because I just get every answer right. It's not fun. At least this gets people back to the table with them. I will give it a thumbs up for that replayability. Your keys to victory. Now, I say this on a regular basis. Keys to victory is all about when you look at the ways to win a game, is it fair and balanced? This is not. This does not give you the opportunity to look at a way to win the game and do it. What it says is, you need to get 3 in a row. How do I get 3 in a row? You're going to roll a die to randomly determine a question, and then you better hope that that question gives you an answer that's going to help you get 3 in a row. That's it. That's horrible. You have to roll the die randomly to get a question that you then need to get correct. And then if it is correct, hope that the answer that you're getting correct goes into the right spot. There's no real strategy there. It's just the luck. You know, at some point you could stop playing the game by listening to questions and you can just start guessing numbers that are only the numbers you need. So I think that that's not a key to victory that works for me. It's not good. It's got to be a thumbs down. Unique. This game's unique. I'll give it that. Now, unique's not always a good thing. I'm giving them the thumbs up, but it's a bad thumbs up. It's unique because it does a bunch of things together that you never really thought somebody would do. It just does them in a bad way. You know, if it were me, I think that what would be a better option would be for there to be some kind of option that says remove that die. We don't need that. Generally speaking, you're going to have questions off of your 1 to 6, and you're going to get to randomly choose the number. However, your opponent has to look at the answers and has to eliminate at least one every round. That's like, you know, you can say to them, like, I don't want any of this number. And it has to be ones you've already answered. So if you've got 2s and 3s and 4s already wrapped up, then tell them, I don't want a 2. You know, don't wipe out all of them because it starts to get way too easy to get that other answer. But if you wipe out like one of them, well, all right, we had 6 questions. We wiped out 1 because the 2 was here. I think that's better. I just feel like they didn't do enough and they really need to make more effort there. It's unique because it is bingo wrapped into a tic-tac-toe, wrapped into a trivia game. It just isn't a good version of it. So thumbs up on unique, but really disappointingly. Overall, what do I think? I think this game is fine. I think that if you are really into trivia, this would be a nice little collector, you know, piece in your collection. But in general, I don't think it's needed. It's sat on my shelf for many years. I played it a bunch the first week I had it, and then I haven't touched it in 4 years since. I think it does not need to be played. I think it doesn't have to be owned. I wouldn't spend $1 on this if I didn't have to. But that's just my opinion. You know, it's really up to you to try to see if you have an opportunity to find the game, and if you do, give it a try. Overall, it's been day 71. We have been talking about Quiz Quoz, and you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. If I can find a version of this game on Amazon, I'll put a link down there for you. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.